Did you know an 8-ball rack is predictable? Stick around to find out what I mean. Welcome back, everybody. Lil Chris here, and in today's video, I'd like to show you two different ways that I break an 8-ball rack. One that increases your chances of making a ball, and the other that allows you to win the game depending upon what rules you're playing by. Let's get started. Okay, this first break I like to call the classic break. Whenever you use this break, you're actually increasing your chances of making a ball because, believe it or not, in that 8-ball rack are 5 predictable balls, and they all have consistent patterns that they go in. Since I am right-handed, I always like to break on the left side of the table. I'm 1 diamond away from the corner pocket and 2 diamonds up. You can do the very same exact thing on the right side of the table, being 1 diamond away from this corner pocket and 2 diamonds up. Where I'm hitting the rack is I'm actually aiming the cue ball directly at the center of the 8-ball. This is actually causing me to cut the 1 ball on the left side, forcing it to go to the right. Where I'm hitting on the cue ball is about half a tip below center. Because since I'm cutting the 1 ball on its left side, my cue ball will go to the left and hit this rail, and I'm hoping that the bottom spin that I'm putting on the cue ball will pull it back towards the center of the table. If I'm able to do that consistently, here are the 5 balls and their predictable, consistent patterns that they go in. The first one being the 1 ball. It will have a tendency to go into this side pocket. If it does miss, it'll miss low or it'll miss high, unless, of course, another ball comes around and knocks it out of the way. If you do break from the right side of the table, then the 1 ball would end up going to this left side pocket, either missing low or also missing high, unless a ball comes and knocks it out of the way. The next 2 balls are the second row. In this case here, it happens to be the 14 ball and the 11 ball. The 14 ball will also have a tendency to go here into the side pocket. If it misses, generally it misses low. The only time I ever usually see it miss high is whenever a ball comes and kicks it out of the way. The 11 ball will have a tendency to go here in the left side pocket, missing low if it does, unless the ball kicks it out of the way, and then it might miss high. The last 2 balls are the wing balls. In this case here, the 7 ball and the 9 ball. What the 7 ball will do, it will come off and hit this rail, this rail, this rail, this rail, and then start heading towards its respective corner pocket. The 9 ball will do the exact same thing, but in the opposite direction. It will hit this rail, this rail, this rail, this rail, and then start heading towards its respective corner pocket. As long as you're being able to produce the same amount of power, hit the head ball at the same exact spot, this should be rather consistent. For now, let's see what we can do with that 1 ball. Watch how it heads towards the side pocket. You see how it just barely missed the side pocket? Now let's try a series of breaks and watch those 5 predictable balls. First, let's try again to get that 1 ball to go into the side pocket. For this break, let's pay attention to the second row. Let's see if we can get the 12 ball to go into its respective side pocket, or the 10 ball to go into its respective side pocket. Now let's watch the corner balls. In this example, we have the 10 ball and the 2 ball. Let's see which one we can get to go 4 rails and fall into its respective corner pocket. These two are the hardest ones to make as they have to dodge all the other balls on the table as they travel their 4 rails. Look at the 2 ball. Pretty darn close. Well, that's all for the classic break. Now let's look at a break that increases our chances of winning depending upon what rules you're playing by, and that's the 8-ball break. This time, we're no longer aiming at the head ball. We're now going to be aiming at whatever ball happens to be in the second row. In this particular case, it's going to be the 15 ball since I will be breaking from the left side of the table. If I were to break from the right side of the table, I would be striking the 9 ball here. Placement of the cue ball on the left side of the table, what I like to do is line the cue ball up with the point of the corner pocket and then move it 2 diamonds up. Now, how I want to hit that 15 ball, I want to hit it as full as I possibly can without contacting the head ball, or the 1 ball in this case. In order for me to do that, I am going to have to aim slightly to the left of center of the 15 ball in order to avoid contacting the 1 ball first and hitting that 15 ball as full as I possibly can. Now, where I'm going to be hitting the cue ball is going to be 2 tips below center and about half a tip to the right of center. And the reason for that is because I'm slightly cutting the 15 ball on its left side, that is going to cause my cue ball to go off to the left. And I want the backspin and the right spin to help it hit the side rail and then spin back to the rack and hit it again. If everything goes right and the ball spread appropriately, the 8 ball does have a tendency to fall here in the right side pocket. But if I were to break from the right side of the table, then I would have to use 2 tips below center and half a tip to the left of center, because when I contact the 9 ball, now I want the cue ball to come over here and hit this side rail, spin back and hit the rack again, so the 8 ball will have a tendency to fall here in the left side pocket. But since all of the balls will be traveling all over the table, it is quite possible that a ball could kick the 8 ball into another pocket. But one thing is for certain, that 8 ball will move out of the rack, and that's what increases our chances of winning off of the break. Now, let's see what I can do with this break. Not quite the direction I was expecting, but do you see how much movement we get out of the 8 ball? Now let's see what I can do with the 8 ball this time. And it's the only 8 ball shot that you don't have to call. Well, that'll do it for today. I hope that you can use this information to improve your breaks during the game of 8 ball. If you were to ask me which break do I prefer, I'm actually going to tell you the classic break. Even though the 8 ball break increases your chances of making the 8 ball on the break to win the game, for a player of my skill level, I actually have a higher chance at breaking and running from the classic break. But for yourself, you're going to have to decide which works best for you. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Take care, everybody.